Implementing both of those policies is going to do nothing but make things more expensive for you. I don't see how you could see it any other way. Like, you're not in play. This conversation has nothing to do with it. What does the governor have to do with Bitcoin? I'm confused. Representative Donalds, this fucking coon. We also got him. Let's see what this dumb nigga has to say. I'm racist when I don't like you, you know what I mean? Let's just get into it.
Donalds, Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
This guy is a dumbass. I honestly just think he's grifting. Golly, any of these niggas who are just tap dancing for Trump, I just like, how do you... You're racist, period, respect. Like, how sad are they when they wake up? Are they just like, fuck, another day of coonery?
Appreciate you coming back on the show. What are you expecting to hear from President Trump tonight?
I think the president's going to cover all of his successes in the last 45 days. Closing our border, border crossings have plummeted since he became president of the United States.
Now, I've heard that's not true. Should we look it up? Fuck. Ignore my horrible typing skills. Okay. Let's do, PBS. I feel like they're like the most neutral. Claims about legal immigration dropping sharply. Okay, fact checking. Okay. Leave me alone. Now, I feel like once we're here, if there's a video in the article, the video should just summarize the article, all right? Well, let's watch it anyway.
Fresh into office, President Trump deployed troops to the southern border.
Border is now closed, really closed.
Hoping to end what he refers to as an invasion. Here are 3 things to know about what the U.S. military is doing there. 1, there are around 3,600 active duty troops on the U.S.-Mexico
also, never mind.
border. On day 1 of his second term, Trump declared a national emergency at the U.S. southern border and ordered the Department of Defense to deploy
signing with a Sharpie?
soldiers there. Here's PBS News White House correspondent Laura Barón-Lopez.
The declaration of an emergency at the U.S. southern border basically opened up a bunch of legal pathways for President Trump, and it enabled him to be able to send more troops to the border.
Encounters along the southern border dropped dramatically from December of 2023's high of over 300,000 to around 96,000 in December of 2024. That number dropped to around 61,000.
Okay. Just know that I don't like Republicans. So if you're cool with that, cool. If not, then you can leave.
A month later, in January
You're welcome to stay.
2020.
Just know that's where I'm at. All right, let's see.
5. Today, the troops that are deployed to the border are there in a support capacity.
They are not ICE. They're not Customs and Border Protection. They're not trained to deal with immigrants. But what they do at the southern border is they essentially help with logistics.
2, deploying active duty troops on the border has been done before. During his first term, President Trump deployed around 6,000 troops to the border before the arrival of what he called migrant caravans. 4 years later, President Biden deployed thousands of troops to the border as well.
Control-Alt, we'll get into it.
Timed to the end of Title 42, a 1944 U.S. public health law that allowed the government to suspend any...
Redacted, I agree. If there's no substance, there's no substance. I'm assuming that, like, you guys all know, but throughout, we'll talk about it. But right now, I'm just trying to watch this video.
Entries into the U.S. to prevent diseases. Implemented by the Trump administration in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, Title 42 allowed for the quick removal of migrants from the U.S.
It essentially really stripped away at the ability for immigrants to claim asylum. But as that was winding down under the Biden administration in 2023, President Biden sent thousands of active duty troops to the border in preparation for potentially an increase in crossings.
Like today, those troops assisted Customs and Border Protection with administrative and support tasks, not in a law enforcement capacity. 3, the role that troops play on the border could change. In his 2025 executive order, Trump ordered the Department of Defense to report back on whether the military should have law enforcement capacity.
President Trump and his administration are trying to justify their actions by saying that there is a, quote, invasion at the southern border. And if there's an invasion, then that means that he and his administration believe that he should have expansive powers to address that so-called invasion.
That could come through two wartime presidential powers established more than 200 years ago. First, Trump instructed Secretary of Defense Hegseth to investigate whether the Insurrection Act of 1807, which allows the president to deploy active duty troops inside the U.S., can now be used in his effort to seal the border. And in his executive order, Trump said he is considering invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
It hasn't been used since World War II, when the United States interned Germans and Italians and Japanese nationals. But that law would essentially enable him to then detain and deport undocumented migrants, potentially use the military to do that without providing any due process.
Authority to use those.
I feel like that feels unethical. No?
Laws rests on the president and would be a major shift.
If President Trump decides to do it, would likely come with lawsuits. But again, those lawsuits could fail because of the fact that the law is written in such a way that the president has the ability to decide whether or not he thinks a certain event going on inside the interior of the United States is an insurrection.
These considerations are part of the Trump administration's view that illegal border crossings pose an existential threat to the United States, a view that is not backed up by evidence or data. They come as the Trump administration has implemented hard-line immigration policies, such as holding some detained migrants in Guantanamo Bay, ending nearly all legal pathways for migration along the southern border, and ending refugee resettlement and certain deportation protections. For PBS News, I'm Tim.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get a whole lot out of that. I just want to know if it's true or not. All I want to know are the crossings down or the same or up. That's all I want to know. 1 month since President Donald Trump was sworn into president, the House is starting administration. Okay. So this is the headline that the plummet is down. That border crossings are down 95%. This is the claim we are checking. Bar graph showed 20,086 thanks to a photo from Biden. A dramatic plunge. Has dropped since Trump entered the White House, but the White House data is misleading. Okay, so legal immigration at the U.S. Southern border has dropped since Trump entered the White House, but the White House's data is misleading. Let's figure out exactly what that means. Post-claim also overemphasizes the data for a short time period. History shows immigration trends ebb and flow no matter who's in office. We know that. We know the full effect of Trump's policies compared with Biden's until we were able to zoom out over a longer period of time. For now, it's unclear whether the drop in illegal immigration will last for too long. Okay. So how much did it go down, though? Data points inflate. So using two different data points inflates the drop in illegal immigration under Trump. This is how like a dumb person tries to fact check something and it's not going well. Like, why can't I just have a website that just says yes or no? This is how we stop spreading misinformation. I gotta read all this shit. This is why Joe Rogan goes on his podcast and says all this dumb shit. I empathize, Joe. I empathize. 20,086 daily encounters. The last 7 days of the Biden administration below a photo of Trump's caption 1,000 daily encounters. Okay. Likewise, post Fox News is misleading. It uses the total number of border encounters for Biden's last 7 days and compares it with a daily average of Trump's first 7 days. And often. Okay. So why is this misleading? Okay, let's break this down. Fox News Post is misleading. It uses the total number of border encounters for Biden's last 7 days in office and compares it to a daily average of Trump's first 7 days in office. Okay. So this is the total of 7 days, and this is the average per day. So yeah, that's not the same shit. Like, what? Am I reading that wrong? I have this fucking light in my eye, and it's like fucking annoying the shit out of me. I'm gonna blame it on that. Does anybody get what the fuck is going on? Yeah, the stock market's not looking good, I heard. Trump is epic and based. Yes, he is. All right. I think I figured that out. I don't know, though.
United States.
Fact check that.
Getting men out of women's sports, something
Nice.
that the American people massively support. 80% of the American people support that. Bringing peace into the Middle East region, actually getting a deal done on getting hostages back and getting...
Yep, making all the Palestinians leave and bombing Gaza and turning it into a shopping mall. Definitely what the people want. Fire.
Close to actually bringing an end to the war in Ukraine, and so many other things.
What? What the fuck has he done to end the war in Ukraine? Is he serious? Did I miss something? Because from my understanding, he went off on Zelensky and made an ass out of himself and made a bunch of countries hate us. That's what I saw. Maybe there's like a smudge on the screen, or maybe I missed something. I don't know. I know like the Norwegian people, they stopped fueling our Navy fucking submarines or whatever after they saw that, and other countries are like, yeah, that's fucked up. We don't like that. I'm watching it on ABC. Is that bad?
A lot to tell the American people, but then also to call on Congress to get moving.
C-SPAN is better?
On the rest of his agenda.
Business leaders and consumers as well tell us that they worry that the president's latest tariffs will only raise prices on a number of goods. Economists insist that that's exactly what will happen. How do you think that the president will try to put those fears to rest tonight?
A couple of things. Number one, we need Canada and Mexico to take our border seriously as well. We do need...
Bruh, like, do you really think he's doing this shit to stop fentanyl from crossing over the Canadian border? Do you guys believe that?
China to stop sending precursor material for fentanyl to Mexico.
That's fine. We can refuel ourselves. But think about it, right? If it was already an option to refuel ourselves, why wouldn't we be doing it now? Probably because it's cheaper to buy shit from other countries, right? So when you make that shit another option, your only option is the American option, which is going to be more expensive. If it was cheaper, we would already use it. That's why tariffs don't work. Tariffs will always make things more expensive. From what I understand, like sometimes that's necessary. Like there's certain industries where you just need to make them in-house for like our security. But like, Leo, what up? Yeah, I don't doubt that at all, Leo. But yeah, like tariffs are never going to make things cheaper. That's a lie that they sell. It's not real. Like, just think about it logically. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm buying shit, if I'm a business, no, if I'm a consumer and I'm getting shit that's made in China, it's because it's the cheapest option. So when you make the Chinese shit more expensive and I have to buy American, my cost is going to go up. I have to now spend more money than I did before. And people are already, rightfully so, bitching about inflation. Like, that's just going to make things worse. That's why the stock market crashed.
Fentanyl is the #1 killer of people.
This just proves it was never about cost of living.
Yeah, of course not.
Of 18 and 45, the president takes our security just as...
I think for some people it was, but I'm just like, if you're so worried about things going up in cost, why would you vote for mass deportation and tariffs? Again, implementing both of those policies is going to do nothing but make things more expensive for you. Why do people hire illegal immigrants? Because the labor is cheaper. And if my labor is more expensive, that means the cost of my goods is going to become more expensive. That's just like fucking 1 + 1 = 2. I don't see how you could see it any other way.
Serious.
Like, what do you think? They're just hiring illegal immigrants because it's fucking fun? Or do you think it's because it costs them less? Like, duh.
As every family in America does. And so I think the response to the American people is give us the opportunity to do the job that we talked about on the campaign trail. We are going to get this economy roaring again. We're going to get prices down. What we're having to do with tariffs in this current situation is about securing our nation, but to a broader level on tariff policy.
So you want slaves? No, I agree that we live in an exploitative system. If you don't want people working for cheap, that's fine, but just understand shit's going to get more expensive. The argument, if your sole concern is I want shit for cheaper, you shouldn't be worried about deportation. That's going to make shit more expensive. If white people are working in the farms picking tomatoes and shit, the tomatoes are going to cost more expensive. That's just how it works. It's not right or wrong. It's just basic math. And if you're arguing with that, you're just retarded. I don't know what to tell you. That's just how it's going to work.
For a long time,
there's an argument that, yeah, everybody should be paid equally, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, that's fine. But shit's going to be more expensive. So don't complain about, I want shit cheaper, but I also want all the Mexicans gone. That doesn't make sense.
Trade meant that there were bad trade deals where the American manufacturer, the American farmer, the American business person is being taken advantage of because other nations tariff our goods and we do not respond in kind. That's why the president laid out reciprocal tariff policy.
Those people from South America.
So that we can actually get to an even playing field so we not only have free trade, but also fair trade.
And also, I don't know why, like, the average American citizen is worried about, like, trade disparities. Like, why do you give a shit if we're buying more stuff from Canada than we're selling? You don't even own a business. You're not in play. This conversation has nothing to do with you. Why would you care as an average person? You said I'll take. Like, what did I get wrong? I'm just stating what's going to happen. I'm not even giving my opinion. This is why I hate Republicans. This is why I hate you people. You guys are so fucking dumb. I don't get it. Take is fucking slaver mentality. If that's what then I'm with you. I think they should get paid fairly too. My thing is, just don't be the one who's complaining about shit getting cheaper, because it's not going to make anything cheaper.
What's your message tonight to your constituents who are worried about the price of groceries and say that they simply can't afford to pay any more money for just basic staples?
What I would say is that we're going to get this economy roaring again.
How?
Policy, we're going to get that settled up here at the federal level in short order. So no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, things that can help the American.
How many people did Elon Musk fire that work for Social Security? Let me look that up. Let's look that up. Yeah, he also did say that Social Security was a Ponzi scheme. Let me try to find somebody a little more. Is Newsweek credible? Disinformation campaign. No, yeah, not that. I heard that he fired like 7,000 people. I don't know if that's true, though. Was already dealing with backlogs, employees, warn job cuts, worsen service. Did they say? Social Security Administration workers are warning that the Trump administration's plan to significantly shrink the agency could cause chaos and hinder the ability to provide services to the millions of retirees, disabled people, and other Americans who rely on the program. So maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe they're talking about it. I heard that 7,000 people got fired. Social Security's recurring come after President vowed the campaign. Blah, 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 blah. When did this article come out? Oh, this is like 28. This shit's old. Bitch. USA Today. No, not the Ponzi scheme thing, you fuck. Threatens. All right, fuck you. Maybe it's fake news. That's why we look things up.
Keep more money in their pocket. Number two, when we go
Actually, well, I'll do one more thing. I'll try one more thing. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, here we go. 7,000. Okay, Senate Democratic leader stood in support of Social Security benefits on Monday.
She coined it.
Shut the fuck up. In wake of Social Security Administration announcement, it's planning to cut 7,000 jobs as a part of significant workforce reductions. So I don't know, like when you're talking about we're gonna get Social Security right, and then you say you're gonna cut 7,000 jobs of people who work in that field, it just doesn't make sense to me. But I guess it hasn't happened yet, so we'll see, right?
Which we're already starting to do with Doge. We're going to expound upon that. Cutting regulations, that's going to help prices actually stabilize and come down. Number three, robust energy agenda in the United States. Drill, baby, drill is the tagline.
Oh,
what it means is energy dominance on the world stage. And when you have a strong energy market in the United States, that also stabilizes prices and brings them down. So that when you get to tariff policy, we are a humming economic engine.
Okay, so from what I understand, we drilled more shit under Biden than any other administration. And then also, like, putting these tariffs on Canada is just going to make our gasoline more expensive, which is in turn going to make everything else more expensive. But I could be wrong.
Who now simply are asking to be treated fairly on the world stage.
On Monday, the president paused military aid to Ukraine. What role do you think that Ukraine should have with regard to the peace deal that Trump is seeking between Ukraine and Russia?
Vladimir Zelensky needs to sign the deal on minerals. Listen, this conflict's been going on for 3 years. The reality is that the previous administration, led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they had no way of trying to even get this close to a peace deal.
How close are we?
The minerals deal is the pathway to getting peace in that region. That's how you start it.
What's the deal? I don't know what the deal is. What are the terms?
Zelensky, this is in his interest and the Ukrainian people's interest, because at some point they're going to have to rebuild Ukraine from this conflict. Better to do that with fresh investment coming into your country because of the rare earth minerals that Ukraine has, which, by the way, the United States does need access to. So it is a good deal for both countries. If you want to get the peace process moving, I would tell Vladimir Zelensky, sign the deal. Let's get started.
And before you go, of course, you announced last week your candidacy to be Florida's next governor. Governor Ron DeSantis is term limited. You've already received the president's endorsement. And you said at CPAC that you want to show the other 49 states how to get it done. Why do you believe that you're the right person to lead your state?
Well, look, we've had great governors. Ron DeSantis, our current governor, Rick Scott before him. We are the mantle of how to have a free state, have a state that doesn't blow out its budgets like New York, California, and Illinois, have a state where business owners want to move their businesses and their families. We're the #1 state when it comes to school choice. We are the best environment to live safely in a state in our country. And so it's basically taking those items and then doing some new things, actually becoming the financial capital of the world with digital assets, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency leading the way. Focusing on children being
What the fuck does that mean? What does a governor have to do with Bitcoin? I'm confused.
proficient in math and reading, in writing, and in reasoning. You do those things in conjunction with what we've already done as a state. Now you have a major story to tell that other states would want to follow and emulate. And
Cahokia, you know what? You know how I know I'm becoming smarter? Because I read about your name in a book yesterday, and I was like, oh shit, that's the guy's name from the YouTube thing.
Quick shout out to my friend in Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy. He says he wants to be the best state in the country. Love you, Vivek, but you get to be #2 because Florida is going to remain #1.
All right, love that.
Super coon, goodbye. Sorry.